Hi everybody, David here today with another live stream. Today we are going to be talking about the Osmo or the DJI Osmo Action. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm gearing it towards travel. I'm one of these people that I love to get camera gear. I'm a photographer anyway, but I like to get nice, small, compact camera gear that I can take out when I travel. One of the things that I quickly found out when I started traveling is that bringing your all your equipment's great, but there's certain situations where you don't want to bring all your stuff out. And so for me, I like to do it small for most situations, unless I'm going specifically to like. Let me back up. I'll bring all my gear. So I'll bring, or the majority of my gear now. So I'll bring the majority of my gear. So I'll bring my expensive camera gear. But when I get to certain destinations, I like to be able to, let's say I'm going out for the night. I want to bring a camera, but I don't want to bring my Sony A7R III, like a big camera and the big lenses, because I have to carry a bag. So I want to carry something that I can just throw in my pocket and walk around and get pictures and all that good stuff, as well as shoot video. I want to shoot video pretty much of everything. So I always want to have a video camera in my pocket. And most people say, well, you have your cell phone, you can use that. Well, cell phones they have a variety of different uses. When you get to quality, trying to get the best quality, you want to be in a situation where you have something that's dedicated for like camera's dedicated for video or for taking pictures. And so that's what you want. Or at least that's what I want. So I don't want to have a phone where I'm taking pictures and then shooting video with that and then using it to make phone calls and to all this other good stuff. So I like the fact that they're making these cameras smaller and smaller, and you have these little action cameras that are out now that are really convenient. You can take them pretty much anywhere, put them in your pocket. You don't really have to worry about them, getting stolen or anything like that. I'm always conscious, like when I carry my camera gear with me. So I have a bag, I'm walking around. It could be at nighttime, and you're a target. If you're walking around, you have an Osmo Pocket, for example, which I have one of those. Or if you have like a little action camera, it's in your pocket. Nobody's really going to mess with you. They're not even going to know that you have anything. So uh, that's what we're going to talk about today. And as you guys come in here, I see there's a few people in here. Just let me know you're here by saying hello. We'll do some shout outs in a minute. Even if you don't have any questions or anything like that, just give me a thumbs up on the chat, just so I know who's here, because I can't really see who's in the room. So I can see how many people are here, but I can't see exactly who it is. It helps me out. And plus, or this will be a new release of cameras. And after we talk about the Osmo Action, I want to know what you guys use. Like, what do you guys take when you travel? And this is not like for professionals. When I think when we all go out and travel, we all take pictures. Like all of us. That's what made Facebook what it is. Um, so because of that, you want to have some pretty good equipment. You shouldn't just be using your phone. You can if you want, but just think about this. You're going places that you might not ever go ever again in your life. So why not take some really good pictures or get some really good video, some 4K video or something like that, as opposed to using your phone and taking little clips, because we all know your phones are limited in the amount of space that they have on them and all that good stuff. Some of the Android phones are good because they have little micro SD cards that come out, so you can switch them out or swap them out. But you can do the same thing with the camera. So just that's just my 2 cents, but we will talk a little bit. So if you guys are in here, just let me know you're here by saying hello. Let's give us some shout outs here. ImageWire, what's going on? David, what's going on? Fit Professor, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, man? Let's see. What do we have to say, David? And like I said, everybody else, there's what 9 people in the room right now. Just let me know you're here. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know everything is cool so I can give you a shout out. Let's see. Jerry, what's going on? Okay, ImageWire beat me. Yeah, David, you got beat today. ImageWire beat you to the room. That's all right, man. You guys are both you guys are both always here, so I appreciate that a lot. Okay, Fit Professor saying, let's say hi, I met you in Barranquilla. I remember you, buddy. I remember you. I remember. You are a professor. I remember that. You teach English, I believe. Let's see. Jerry Smith, love the reviews. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And David said, I have the GoPro Hero 7 Black. Wait, let's see. I'm going to use the first time. I'm going to use it for the first time in Hawaii Memorial Day weekend. All right, cool, cool. So I guess you probably won't be getting the Osmo Action, or maybe you will. I will be getting this new release. Um, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good product. It's kind of hard to say, like it's still rumors, so you don't know all the specs. I mean, they tell you what the specs are here. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to be launched. So um, it'll be interesting. Hopefully, if everything on it, as far as the specs go, if it's the same as what they launch on May 15th, then I'll be getting the camera. There's only two issues. Excuse me. There's only two issues that I'm concerned with, and I'll go over those when we pull it up and start looking more into it. HD chilling, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm excited about the camera too, man. I'm definitely excited. So that's Hardy. He's from our travel group, Fit Professors from the travel group. So these guys are jumping in. I appreciate it. Let's see. This camera looks great. It does definitely look great. And and what else to say? I have issues with the Osmo Pocket. So Fit Professor saying he has issues with the Osmo Pocket. Wow, Brian, what's going on, buddy? Thank you very much for the super chat, man. I appreciate that a lot, buddy. Let's see, what's good, bro? Eager to see this product. Only thing is based on the past experience by a Mavic Pro. The first month release, and the Osmo Pocket's first month. Man, wait software. Yeah, you know what? And Brian, you raise a good point. But yeah, Osmo Pocket, yeah. I wanted to say, but no, the Osmo Pocket came out and it was fine. No, they always have firmware updates. The thing is, and basically what Brian's saying is, and this goes with a lot of products. It's not just DJI, but they released a product, and as soon as they release it, like a lot of us we want to be the first ones to have it, right? Especially, I want to be the first one to get it so I can like show it to you guys and do videos and stuff like that. But there are always little kinks. There are always little problems with new releases. I won't say always, but the majority of new releases, you're going to have some little kinks here and there. But one good thing about DJI and Sony, I'll say this for Sony as well, because I have personal experience with them buying stuff early on. They will do upgrades or updates, firmware updates. Osmo Pocket was the same way. I got the Osmo Pocket, and then they did a firmware update where they fixed the audio. It had some audio issues, and there's a few different things. But as long as it's a firmware update, I'm good with it. But if it's something that's like mechanical, that's where you have real big problems. So, all right, let's see. Yeah, so Fit Professor, you said you had issues with the Osmo Pocket. Okay, let us know what those are. I'm just curious. I mean, I have it now, and I do really like it, and I'll be keeping that as well as getting this one. And these cameras are targeted for different people. The Osmo Pocket is a great camera for just all around, just walking around and getting video. Let's say you're traveling and you're just walking down the street, you want to get video of that. You can do nice slow pans, and I mean everything is really stabilized because of the gimbal, so that's great. And that camera is one of those cameras. The Osmo Pocket's one of those cameras you can just walk around and not really have to pay too much attention to the what you're doing. I mean, it's kind of weird, but I don't really have to focus. Once I have it in my hand and it's level the way I want it, I can just walk down the street. I don't have to like make sure it's steady, because you have different cameras. If you're walking down the street, especially with like action cameras and stuff, you have to make sure the horizons, well, I do. I like to make sure the horizons level so it looks right and all that good stuff. So I'm constantly looking at the screen on the back of the camera. But with this Osmo Pocket, you can just walk around with it and just hold it. And even if your hand's like this and it's straight, so everything is perfect, your hand goes like this, it's gonna adjust and make the horizon, level. So I like that a lot about it. I don't have to think about it. I can just walk around. So let's say I go in a grocery store and I want to go shopping, but I want to show you guys what's in a grocery store in Colombia, which I did when I was there. You just walk around. I'm just holding it. I'm doing all my shopping. I'm not even really paying any mind to the camera at all. So I like that. Okay, let's give a few more shout outs and then we're going to go ahead and open up this little article here. If I can get my mouse to work. All right, let's see. Okay, so so Fit Professor saying the way that it pans. He's talking about the Osmo Pocket. The way that it pans seems off. It should be fine. I don't. I haven't had any issues with that. Focusing, that was an issue with focusing and face tracking, but they did a firmware update with that with the Osmo Pocket, and it seems to be fine. I don't have any issues with that with the focusing. And I've been using it like doing kind of like vlog style stuff. I've even shot it in low light, and it worked well. No issues with that either. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals where not everyone's going to like the product, and it like I was kind of saying that they're built for two different people. So you have the Osmo Pocket that's more just for walking around kind of stuff, or when you're traveling, you can walk around and just get footage like that. But this action camera is an action camera that's Osmo Action, so they are competing directly with GoPro with this, and I think they have a really, I mean, from the looks of it, they're going to have a really good product because it's going to have that front-facing LCD screen as well as the back-facing or the back LCD screen. And let's get into it because I don't want to tell you guys tease all the stuff and then not really go over everything. Okay. Fit professors say, let's see, ImageWire, love the Osmo Pocket, but for such a tiny camera, I have to carry a large backpack for all the accessories, batteries, battery banks. All right, yeah, that's true. For me, I carry one battery bank, just a 10,000 milliamp. I think you can see that. Yeah, 10,000 milliamp. I carry that one, and the beauty of that is that little small thing is the size of like a wallet. So I just put that in my like if I'm out. When I was out in Colombia, I went to Barranquilla, went to Carnaval. I had the Osmo Pocket with me, and I put that in my back pocket, and I had the cord. So this is attached to my phone right now, but I had this, the cord directly into the Osmo Pocket. So I just had it in my back pocket. The cord came up here. It was plugged into the bottom there, and I just had the Osmo Pocket with me, and I'm walking around, and I could shoot indefinitely. Like I didn't have any issues as far as battery, but and that's pretty much all I had. Everything else that I had on my Osmo Pocket was already on there, and I did a video. So if you guys check my videos, it was recent. It's probably maybe it's about a month ago, where I just kind of go over my little setup. So that's all I had, just the Osmo Pocket with the little accessories that I had already attached to it, and then that power bank. Those are the only things that I had. And then I tried to use the filters, but honestly, most of my shooting was at night, so it didn't really apply. So that wasn't a problem. Fix this real quick. All right. Okay. All right. Let's pull this up. Actually, this zoom is off. Let me fix this real quick. Got me superimposed on here, and my zoom is off. Okay, if you guys lose me, I'll be right back. I'm just trying to mess with my video here, or with my setup here. Just give me 1 second. All right, looks like it's back. Yeah, I just zoomed. I pushed the wrong button on my phone, and it zoomed my video in, so I couldn't see myself. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look. If you guys are in here right now, please hit the like button. That'll bring more people in. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, see, okay, so you guys are seeing me. All right. Hopefully it fixed itself, but it did zoom in. Yeah, so if you guys here, hit the like button. Share this with your friends. If you have people that are interested, friends and family, please share it with them. And share it on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Yeah, it looks like my stream went away. Okay, there we go. It's back. Now I see everything a little delayed, so I know you guys are probably looking at it. Oh, it went out, but now it's back. And so I'm seeing a little delay here. All right, so let's pull this up real quick and we'll talk a little bit about this. Now, if you guys have questions or anything like that, I don't know all the answers. Obviously, this is still rumored, so there is no guarantee that all the stuff that we're going to look at right now is correct. But we're there's there's a pretty good possibility that all this stuff is right. And what I personally think about how they so-called leak this stuff, I think I believe it's DJI. They're leaking this stuff, just plain and simple, just to get people buzz, get people interested, involved. So they'll leak a few, do it on like a Friday, right? That's the perfect time to put out some leaks on a slow news day. They leak a few things, and then over the weekend, now everyone's talking about it. All these YouTube influencers are doing videos about it, like me, and and then on Wednesday, then they launch it. So now everyone has heard about it, and they really want to see what's going on. It's unconfirmed stuff, but yeah, I think that it's purposely done that way. So I don't think these pictures just happen to show up on someone's uh, desk and they, oh, look at this, Osmo action stuff. I'm gonna check this out. So okay. Anyway, that's my little spiel here. Now, if you guys want to check this, this is DJI or DYIphotography.net. You can check out this blog, and they put it out. There are a few other blogs that put it out as well, but I think this one was probably one of the better ones. And so and we're just looking at the front page here with the picture. This is the box that this is what they think the box is going to look like. This is what they think the actual box is. And you can see there Osmo Action, so we do have that name on there already. It looks pretty much the same as a GoPro, same dimensions, kind of size-wise. You see it has a splash around it, which would give us a good indication that it's going to be waterproof out of the case. So you're not gonna have to put it in anything; it'll be waterproof, which is good. And Sony started doing that. GoPro did their first camera, the first cameras that they put out. They weren't waterproof. They were, I guess I could say, water resistant, and then they had a housing that you could put them in. Sony started putting out cameras. The Sony FDR X3000. That's the one that I have. I think I have it with me. Yeah, I don't have it with me. Great little camera. I like that camera a lot, but it doesn't have any screen on it or anything like that. And it was waterproof. You could take it underwater. You didn't have to have housing. Now they gave you a housing as well because the housing the quality looked a little bit better with the housing because of uh, the lens that not really the lens, but the covering the lens kind of when you shoot underwater, it looks a little different. And if you have like a bubble lens, it'll look a little bit better. So they had the housing for that. So that was the main reason that you had housing, but you could still go underwater with it without housing. So now this is kind of the standard. Most action cameras are going to be waterproof. Okay, so so we can look here and just looking at these two pictures here, and I think they have some. Okay, yeah, they have some other ones here. So we'll just go down and look at those. Let's look at the specs real quick. So you're going to have the same sensor. The same sensor is same sensor size as the Osmo Pocket. So I don't know if you guys have the Osmo Pocket or not. If you've ever used the Osmo Pocket, you can check on YouTube right now and see footage of the Osmo Pocket. And for low light, this camera is pretty good. It's better than the GoPro Hero 7, in my opinion. And I've looked at video of both side by side, and I think most people would say that the GoPro 7 it struggles in low light, which all cameras are going to struggle in low light at some point. Even if you have full frame cameras, they're still going to struggle at some point at low light. But with these small little sensors, they tend to struggle a lot more when it comes to low light. They can't capture the light that a regular uh, full frame camera can. So with this little Osmo Pocket and with the same sensor that this camera has here, it does a pretty good job. And I've taken it when I was in Colombia. I was in clubs, shooting video in clubs, and it was doing a pretty good job. The only problem that I saw with the Osmo Pocket in low light, if I'm walking at night and it's low lit situation, I'm walking and there's a lot of movement around me. Like when I was, they had block parties. We were going to block parties. We went to these block parties. There's people all over and you're walking through a crowd and it's low light, it would blur a lot of the people. So that was, that was noticeable. But other than that, like if I'm in a club and I'm just kind of doing pans back and forth, I'm walking just a little bit, the quality was really good for that situation. All right, so 12 megapixel sensor, and just so you know, they're going to have it's going to be 12 megapixel because it's 4K. So 12 megapixel and up. You can't go any lower than 12 megapixel and get that full 4K readout. So that's why it's 12 megapixels. Um, and then they have the processor here that they're the H2 processor. Not any information that I'm really too interested in the whole processor thing. As long as it works, it's good. The field of view. Now, this is something good. There's 145 degree field of view, f2.8. So your aperture is going to be 2.8, which is not the best. I would hope I wanted them to have something a little lower, like a 1.8. And just so you know, if you guys don't really know the technical aspects of aperture, so f2.8 is it, that's the iris. So that's how wide the opening is in the iris. So I think we all kind of know what a camera looks like on not on the inside, but the lenses. It opens up and then it closes down, and when it opens up, it lets more light in, and that's how you can take they call it a faster lens. You can take shots faster because you have more. You're letting more light in. So if you let more light in as well at nighttime or in low lit situations, it allows you to have better quality of an image. So, and because basically, I don't want to get too technical, but basically the aperture when you open that the iris up, it's letting that light into the sensor, and the sensor is what's capturing everything, giving the quality, right? So if that sensor has more uh, light in, if there's more light, then it will pick up a better, you'll have a better image. Just like when you're outside, broad daylight, you're looking, you could pick your phone up, take pictures and video and all that, and it just looks great. But then as soon as you go indoors, go into a restaurant or something like that, it gets all grainy and it looks all weird, and people start moving kind of, you're moving around, you see kind of like uh, it gets slow, like the capturing, it gets slow. When I say, trying to think of the term, but everything looks like it's not fast moving, right? Like it's not crisp. It's just blurry and kind of, whatever. You can see like the motion. That's what I'm trying to think of. So that's with any camera, but with small sensor cameras, they're going to struggle a lot more. So I'm trying not to get too technical. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, I can tell this, but I don't want to go too technical because then it just gets, then people might have more and more questions. But just know this: f2.8, that's good. F1.8 is even better because it will let even more light in, and you can get a better shot. So some of these small little sensor cameras, they have like f1.8, but in this case, they didn't choose to do that. Okay, so they have the shutter speed here, and let's see, 4K at 60 frames per second. So that's great. So you can shoot 4K at 60 frames per second, which will allow you to do some slow mo. And the way the slow mo works, basically, we if you're going to slow something down, you need to let's just put it this way: if I'm shooting at 4K 60 frames per second, I can slow it down and still have 30 frames. So I can slow it down a little bit and still have 4K at 30 frames per second, and still have smooth. You'll have a smooth slow motion, as opposed to and you'll see this, like if you try to slow down, let's say you shoot at 4K 30 frames per second, and then you try to slow that down, slow it in half. Well, now you're 4K 15 frames per second, so now it's choppy, and so that's why, like if you don't shoot at 60 frames per second, you shoot at something lower, then you try to slow it down, and you look at the video, and you see it's like jumping, it's like choppy, it's not a smooth slow motion, and you'll see like you have some real expensive cameras out there that are able to shoot, like you can shoot a bullet and you can see that bullet go through an object or something like that because they have real high frame rates where it can just shoot and then you can slow it down and it's just smooth. So 60 frames per second is pretty good. at 4K. That's going to be the standard. Like everyone has been waiting for these cameras to start launching with the 4K 60 frames per second. The Osmo Pocket has a 4K 60 frames per second, and a lot of the larger cameras now are having the same thing. So, uh, no, we haven't covered the cost yet, Susa or Susua. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that right now, Susua. I just happened to look in the chat. Your name came up. Uh, we're gonna finish this out, and then once we finish this out, then we'll talk a little bit about the price and some of the other stuff here. So shooting modes. So they have the shooting modes here. So we'll do time lapse and stuff like that. So that's good. Yeah, let's look at some of the pictures. See these up close. So there's gonna be one side, and you see down here at the bottom here, they have like the little release. I'm guessing that's a release for the battery. I don't know anything about the battery, how long the battery life is going to be, or anything like that. That's obviously an issue with people as far as the battery, how long is it, the battery life, and all that good stuff. I would think it's not going to be more than, it'll probably be like 45 minutes. I can't see it being much more than that. It's going to be a small battery. So here's the front, and so I like the layout here. And you have this little ring here that it looks like there's a ring that, or there's a cover for the lens, to protect the lens or to allow you to put polarizer filters or ND filters or something like that on it. That's what it looks like to me. Not entirely sure, but that's, if I'm looking at this, and it has like the little where you can, looks like you can turn it, like unscrew it. So hopefully that's the case. If you have something that covers that lens, that's perfect. One of the gripes that I have with the action camera that I have, and even the GoPros, a lot of them don't have anything to cover that lens. So I want to be able to cover the lens, even if it's with just a filter, just have it on there. That way I can just stick it in my pocket. If something goes wrong, I scratch something, I'm going to scratch just the filter, not the actual lens. So that's interesting. And then the big thing here is you have that front facing LCD. So you'll be able to compose your shot, get it where you want it, and do selfies, I guess, or do vlogging, which is what I would use it for. So that's nice and very convenient. I even like this setup. I'll talk about the button configurations in a minute. I don't know what this is here. This little, I don't know if that's a mic. I don't know what that is. Or if it's just a design. I would think it's not just a design. I would think it has some meaning to it, but I guess we'll find that out on May 15th. Then you have, looks like a little light here, like an indicator light. Maybe if you're charging it, it probably shows that it's charging, or if it's recording, it shows it's recording. So that's that picture. Let's move on and see. Okay, so here's the button layout, and I like this because it makes sense. And for whatever reason, like camera makers, they sometimes they don't really think things through when it comes to button configuration, but I think they did a good job here. And there's only two buttons, which is great. So it's simple, right? You hit the power button here. So if I'm holding it out in front of me, and I don't have anything really. So if I'm holding it out in front of me, I can hit that power button, turn it on, and then I can also just hold it with two fingers. And if I want to vlog or whatever, hold it like that. Just press the record button while I'm doing that, and then I can even have my button near the record. So when I want to turn it off, I can just turn it off. So pretty smart the way they did that. And then they also kept the mics out of the way. So you have the mics right here. A lot of times, for whatever reason, they have these cameras, especially the smaller point and shoot cameras, that some of those cameras are really good for vlogging as well. They have the little flip screen, but they put the speakers right where you would put your fingers. So now you're rubbing your finger over not the speaker, the mic. They put the mic right where you put your finger, so now you're rubbing your finger over the mic, making noises and stuff. So pretty nice the way they set that up. Yeah, let's look at some of the other stuff here. Now, one of the things that I'm really concerned about, and they haven't really said anything about this yet, but will it have a mic input? And that was one of the big downfalls. That's one thing I don't like about the Osmo Pocket. They don't have a mic input. You have to buy the little accessory. I bought the accessory. I still don't like it because you have the Osmo Pocket, so you're holding the Osmo Pocket, and then you have this little dongle, little attachment that you have to stick into the USB-C port, and then you hook in a mic into that. So I just don't like the fact that you have to have that extra little attachment. It's just like GoPro did the same thing when they released their cameras, and they don't have a mic input, so now you have to get this dongle. I don't like that. but we'll see. So I'm hoping that one of these little compartments on the side here has a mic input. So oh God, and this is one of those deals. It's not going to be a deal breaker. I'm still going to get it, and I know that they've already thought this through. So if they don't have it, they're going to do just like the Osmo Pocket. You're going to have this extra attachment, which is kind of a pain, but still, I'm just hoping one of these little side compartments here has that. So we'll see. Now, this is actually the first view that I've seen underneath. Haven't seen this one before. So I was hoping it had a quarter 20, so a little quarter 20, so you can hook it into any traditional tripod. Apparently, it doesn't. So that isn't. I don't know why they don't do this. It's a camera. Most cameras, I don't even if it's the cheapest camera, it has a little quarter 20 on the bottom, so you can hook it into a tripod. But yeah, they decided to not do that. So yeah, this is like I said, this is the first time haven't looked at these pictures before, but this is the first time that I saw the fact that they don't have anything on the bottom there. So that's I'm not happy with that, but it is what it is. And the one good thing now that you have Amazon, people make products for everything. So even though they don't have this, people will make a little housing, small little housing you can put on it that'll have a quarter 20 on the bottom. But yeah, it's a little unfortunate that they didn't put that in there. So I'm looking at this switch here, and then I'm looking at this switch here. So this one, I don't know which one's the battery. I would think this is probably the battery, and this is for something else. So maybe that's a compartment that opens up and allows you access to like uh, the charging, because I don't see the USB-C charging or anything like that. So maybe that's what that is, and a mic jack, hopefully. Okay, back screen here, and you see there are no buttons on the back, so obviously it's going to be a touch screen, which is good. And one other thing I'm interested to know too is what are they going to have? Are they going to have like another app? You had the Mimo app with the Osmo Pocket, so now they're going to have another app that you use for this. How are they gonna work that out? So yeah, that's that. Let's just move on, and then you have the top side view over here. Okay, so nothing really different there. Pretty much the same. Okay, so now price point. From what I was hearing, they're saying it's going to be in the neighborhood of 399. So it'll be comparable to to GoPros. So not bad. I mean, I I see it at that price range. I mean, I can't see them going any cheaper than that. And the Osmo Pocket was what 350. I think that's a good price point for what you're getting. Like what my big thing when it comes to these cameras, for what you're getting, that's a good price point. $350, $400 for a little camera that you can take pretty much anywhere. And with the Osmo Pocket, a camera that's on a gimbal, just buying a gimbal alone, even if you're buying a gimbal for your phone, you're gonna pay at least $150 just for that gimbal. And you have to carry that big gimbal around. Like I have one now. I used it a couple of times, and I don't want to use it anymore because it's a hassle bringing it with you wherever you go, and it's not anything you can put in your pocket. Like it's the case that it comes in is this big, and then I have to take it out of the case, hook my phone into it, balance it. You don't have to balance it too much. Usually, the the smaller ones you don't have to balance that much, but and then you can use it for like 45 minutes, and then it's done. And so it's just a hassle. When I went to Thailand, that's what I was using. I bought a actually it wasn't for my phone, it was for my other action camera, the Sony action camera. So I had this little Feiyu Tech gimbal, and I was walking around with that, but it's just too big. So just that alone, so I have an action camera that I paid, I believe it was $300 for that one. Or that might have actually been 400. And then I had that little Feiyu Tech thing, which cost me another $200. So now I'm looking at $600 for that. And the cameras that we're looking at now with the Hero 7 and with this camera, hopefully, they didn't really talk about the image stabilization, but they did mention it in another article that I was reading. That image stabilization is so good now. There's going to come a time where I won't say gimbals will be obsolete because the Osmo Pocket does something that cameras can't do, like a regular traditional camera can't do. And that is, I can sit it down and it'll have it track on my face, and it will follow me around the room. Um, that's something that you're not going to get a regular camera to do. So stuff like that, or like if you're doing time lapse. When I was in Colombia, I did some time lapse. Like the last night that I was there, I just went down. I still haven't edited it. I need to edit that video and put that out. But I was doing time lapse, so time lapse shots, and it was on the gimbal, so the gimbal was moving around, and so you're getting the time lapse, but you're getting like a pan of a time lapse, which is something that a regular camera can't do. You have to have a gimbal in order to do that. So this is not going to make gimbals obsolete, but their image stabilization is getting so good. The digital image stabilization, like with the GoPro Hero 7, and even the Sony camera that I was using, that action camera, that stabilization is really good. And I put it side by side with the Osmo Pocket and walked, and it was pretty close. I mean, the Osmo Pocket was still just a little bit better, but it was pretty close. The both footage was viewable. I mean, it wasn't one of those things where it was too shaky on either one. So yeah, they're doing really good things with image stabilization. All right, what do we got going on in the chat here? If you guys have questions or anything like that, please let me know. And please hit the like button if you guys are in here right now so we can get more people in, more people involved. And let's see. Let's see. I think we talked a little bit about all that. Fit Professor. Yeah, we talked about so yeah, I would, I mean, I don't have any problems with my panning. And uh, the Fit Professor was just saying his panning is off a little bit. I know I talked about it briefly, but we can talk a little bit more now. But I don't have any issues with the panning. Like I can pan just fine. One of the things I did get is the little attachment, the little scroll wheel thing, and that works really well. Like if I'm panning with my hand, yeah, I'm moving a little bit, so it's not going to be a real smooth pan. I mean, well, the pan is surprisingly smooth, even though I'm holding with my hand. But if you have that little scroll wheel, I put that on there and I can pan, and it will just, I mean, it's a nice pan. Um, you just have to kind of work with how much pressure you're putting on it, because if you put too much pressure on it, it'll go real fast, and then if you don't put enough, then it'll slow down. So you have to kind of have constant pressure on it. But yeah, I haven't had any problems with that. And then yeah, the face tracking with Osmo Pocket, I haven't face tracking's been fine. I mean, it won't keep me in like there are certain situations where you walk away or you move away real fast, and yeah, it won't be able to keep track of you. But for the most part, it keeps track of me. I turn it off. To be honest with you, I turn it off a lot of times because I don't like, especially if I'm just sitting somewhere. I don't like if I move a little bit and then the camera moves. It's just a little distracting when I look at it when I play it back. So I usually turn it off. The only time I'll usually have it on is if I do want it to track me a little bit, if I'm walking around or moving around the room. Okay. Okay, so Fit Professor says I'll get the Osmo Pocket too. Yeah, yeah. I think the Osmo Pocket 2 is going to be better than the Osmo Pocket 1, that's for sure. Not saying that the Osmo Pocket 1 is bad, but I would hope with the Osmo Pocket 2 that they'll have a 1-inch sensor as opposed to this half-inch sensor that they're using now. And just I'm sure they'll make things, they'll fix things. One good thing about DJI and Sony, those are two brands. I'm telling you, those are two good brands because they listen to their customers. Uh, and I'll just tell the story. I've been with Canon. I was with Canon for 8 years. I started out shooting Canon. Love Canon cameras. To this day, I still like Canon cameras. But the only problem with Canon is they don't listen to their customers. They will not. There are things that their customers are begging them to do, and they just don't do it. So they put out a new release, and they don't have, they're not at the same level when it comes to technology as some of the other camera makers. And I won't say they're not at the same level. They're not putting out the same product as far as technology as some of the other cameras. And so, and I'm talking more the high-end cameras. So just to give you an example, the Canon Mark IV, the Canon 5D Mark IV. I had the 5D Mark III. I was I was at a point where I wanted to upgrade to the Mark IV or well, I wanted to upgrade to the Mark IV. They had just released the Mark IV, and they also released the Sony A7R III. And the technology, when it came to both cameras, the Sony far outweighed the Canon with technology. So I said, okay, well, you know what? This was about a year. The Canon Mark IV had been out for about a year. So I said, I'll wait. I'll wait a little bit. I'll wait about 6 months to see if there's any rumors of them having a Mark V out. And no, they didn't. And to this day, I bought that Sony camera last year, and to this day they have not released a 5D Mark V. And so just things like that, where yeah, you probably should put something out there. If you put out a product that is the technology is not really there, then maybe you should start listening to your customers and say, yeah, you know what, I need to put out something and bring in all this technology. Canon has a technology. What they do is they hold out on their technology, and all camera makers do, or electronics they do this period, like electronic companies. But camera companies are they do this all the time, where they'll have the technology, but they want to get as much money out of you as possible, right? So if they can release a camera that has, you know, that's kind of subpar, just has a few different things, but you've already made that commitment with Canon. And when it comes to cameras, you make a commitment, you buy all the lenses. So now you're kind of stuck. You have to sell all those lenses plus sell the cameras in order to move into another camera company. So they kind of know they have you there, and so they just kind of put out a little, you know, some technology here, some technology there, but they don't give you everything that they have. And Sony at one point, and Sony did a good job of just they put out their stuff. Like they'll give you some of the best technology out there, and and it's worked for them. They were the first ones to really jump on the whole mirrorless camera, whereas Canon and Nikon forever they said nope, DSLRs, that's where it's at. We're not going to jump into this whole mirrorless cameras, and those are not like professional cameras. And so Sony jumped on board and they said, okay, we're going to make the best mirrorless cameras that we can possibly make. And so that's what they did. They started releasing these little mirrorless cameras, the little APS-C size sensor, so it wasn't a full frame. And just so you know, like full frame is like that is the standard for professional photography. You have medium format, which is even better, but medium format is out of most people's price range. I mean, most people aren't going to pay 20,000 for a camera or 40,000 for a camera. So that's out of most people's price range. So most professionals are using full frame cameras, and so Sony started putting out these APS-C size sensor, which is half the size of a full frame. And then they jumped in with the mirrorless cameras. They jumped into a full frame, and when they jumped into a full frame, people started really paying attention to them, and they started putting these good products out. And now they dominate the mirrorless camera market. And so now what happens? Nikon and Canon jump on board, and they say, "Oh, we're going to make some real good mirrorless cameras." And they put out some cameras last year, and they I've never used any of them, but they didn't get good reviews. Let's just put it that way. And Sony is still on top of their game when it comes to the mirrorless cameras. So, okay. Let's see. What else are we talking about? It's great for shooting in areas where safety may be an issue. Okay. And that's the professor saying that, yeah, the Osmo Pocket's great for shooting in areas for safety. Yeah, that's true. And part of the reason is because it's small and discreet, and most people aren't really they don't even really know what it is. When I was in Colombia, people didn't know what it was. And so I was walking around. In most situations, there's one of two things. People didn't know I was shooting video at all, or they see me shooting video and they're like, I had at least 10 people come up to me and ask me, like, what is that? What is that? Because they just didn't know what it was. It's so small. It looks just like to me, it looks like pepper spray, but it just looks like a little, you know, nothing, like a little vape machine or whatever. So when you're walking around with it, people aren't really paying attention. They're not paying you any attention. So Yeah, it's good for that. It's discreet. You're not pulling out this big camera, and it's not intimidating either. That's another thing. Like people get intimidated when you pull out. You see these vloggers nowadays. They have these big cameras, little tripod with the big camera and the big shotgun mic on top, and you're walking around. And as soon as you turn that around to someone, they're like, "Ah, I don't want to be on camera." So with this little Osmo thing, you're just kind of walking around, and people just think it's almost like not even something that you would use to put video. Like they don't see it as being like a good camera to use for video, so it's not intimidating. Okay. Um, so yeah, we talked about the price point, and that's what I've heard, 399. Let's hope it's around that price point. I'm getting one anyway, and I'm gonna jump on board early. I'm just gonna get it. If it has issues, it has issues. I have faith in DJI that they'll fix they'll do it with the firmware updates. So I'm okay with getting it early. Let's see. Let's see. I'm wondering if this action cam has chargeable. Changeable lenses. That's the professor asking that. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they can do that. Like with an action camera like that. Like especially if it's waterproof. It's just. I mean, you can have like even today's cameras, like the big cameras out there, with the interchangeable lenses. There are not all of them, but some of them are water resistant, and that's one good thing about Canon. I will say they make really good cameras when it comes to making it water resistant. So you could be out in the rain, you could take pictures, there's no problem. Um, but that's one thing that Sony they need to work on. They're sealing up their cameras. When I was in Thailand, my camera got wet, and my fault. I'm in a little canoe. We're riding around, and we kind of rock one way and rock the other way. The water came up, and I had the camera down here, and the water just a wave over my camera, and it started acting up after that. It was fine after it dried out, but yeah, it was acting up a little bit. Whereas my Canons never had any issues. I was out in the rain all the time with those cameras, and never had any issues. I go shoot waterfalls. In Costa Rica, I was shooting waterfalls, and you have the water just pounding down on the camera, not directly on the camera, but it's you're near waterfalls, so all the mist and everything. So there's a lot of water everywhere. Never had any issues with that. But it's just hard to have something like that will go underwater. It's hard to not have any little leaks or anything like that with that connection. So that would be nice. That would be interesting if they did make something like that. But yeah, I don't think it's possible. I mean, and what I was saying, like with the DSLR cameras now, even the Canon cameras, you still have to buy this underwater housing in order to use those cameras because they're not made to go underwater. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Luke, what's going on? How you doing? What's the best camera phone in your opinion? Um, I I'm not big on phones. I have an old I guess it's old now. The Note 5. That's what I have now. What I've heard, and this is just I'm merely going off what I've heard. The Pixels are really good. So I think the Pixel 3 is out now. Those the Google Pixels are really good as far as cameras. But for the most part, they're doing a pretty good job with these phone cameras. The only problem is if you're like in low light or anything like that, you're gonna struggle, and that's the main thing. That's the main problem that I see. And I always say, and I said this earlier, if I'm traveling, I want to take really good pictures because I might not ever come back to this place, or I might come back to this place and it's a whole different. It looks completely different because uh, they've changed things, or I mean, there's so many things that go on where you might only have one opportunity to take these pictures. So I don't want to have it on my phone. I don't want to have that. Plus, you might take an award-winning shot one of these days, and you take it on your phone, and it's like, oh, I can't blow it up and put it in my house or whatever. So I'm just I guess I'm overboard when it comes to photography because I know like what a camera can do, and I know the quality difference. And so if I take a picture with my phone, I'm like, why did I take this with my phone when I could have taken it with a nice camera and I would have been able to edit it a lot better and all that stuff. Because ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Like, or some won't say ultimately, but one of the big things about taking, like, I have the Sony A7R III, 42 megapixel camera, full frame. I can take some shots, and 42 megapixels is like twice the norm. The normal DSLR cameras around 24 megapixel. So I can take a shot with a 42 megapixel camera, and if I want to crop it down, I can crop it down 50% and still have the same quality that most people are shooting with like a regular DSLR. So or regular mirrorless as well. So stuff like that. Or if I want to edit that picture, if I want to pull some light out or open up the shadows, and I can do all this editing, and the picture's not going to fall apart. And when the pictures fall apart, you see all this grain and stuff in them. That's when they're falling apart. But if you're shooting with really high quality camera and high quality lenses, you're able to get some really sharp images that you can edit, and they're not. It's the image is still going to be a good shot. Uh, okay, so yeah, I'd say Pixel, one of the Pixels, and I would probably so he has a Pixel 2. I would probably get that Pixel 2. Um, and it's funny, but we were talking. We have this WhatsApp group, and we were talking. This was early on um, in the group, like this is months ago. But I remember one of the guys in there was just talking about, hey, you should get that Google Fi. And I'm thinking, what the hell is Google Fi? I've never heard of this before. And I've been one of the people that, like, I'm not really big on phones. So even when I travel, I very rarely use my phone. But in this case, we were going to Carnaval and we needed to communicate with each other. But usually when I'm traveling, I'm not really communicating with other people. I'm either going solo or I'm going with a friend, but I'm with that friend, so we're pretty much just going around. So I'll get it like for emergency situations where I need to, like, I'll have like that plan where I can text, do a little bit of texting, but I can't really do the data unless I have, I could use Wi-Fi. So he was saying, hey, you should get Google Fi and get one of those Pixel phones, and you can get a Pixel 2. You can get it online, and it's like 300 bucks. So that's what I'm actually going to do now because I do want to have like a phone where I can use it when I'm traveling, and I don't want to have to go do the whole SIM card thing and all that. I just don't think I'm just not going to do that. So I'm gonna probably get that Pixel 2 and then have my regular phone, and when I travel, have this Pixel 2 with Google Fi and use that. Because it's pretty reasonable. It's like 20 bucks. I think it's 20 bucks a month to have the Google Fi plus like 1 gig is like 10 bucks a month or 10 bucks for every 1 gig. I don't know, something like that. I have to look into it more, but it's something that I would definitely do. My last trip, I didn't have anything, and I got charged. Even though I got a little plan, I went over on my data, so that I ended up paying like 50 bucks extra just to have all that, which is pretty ridiculous. All right. So and I'm gonna give a plug to Susa Dominican Republic. I didn't you gotta change your name. I always say it wrong. All right, so Sua Dominican Republic, Richie Rich. He's got a channel, so you guys can check it out. I'll post a link right now. But yeah, he's got a good channel, man. He talks about he's actually getting ready to go to Brazil, which would be nice. And what I love about like these travel channels and these travel groups and stuff like that, someone's always somewhere, right? So it's you're able just to kind of get in there and you're almost on a vacation with them because they're showing you footage, video footage, pictures, all that good stuff. So he's getting ready to go to Brazil. I think he said you're going in the end of May. So which we're almost there now. So he's going to be putting out a lot of videos. So I'll definitely put his link up here so you guys can check him out and subscribe to his channel because he's got some good content in Brazil, man. Come on, who doesn't want to go and see what's going on in Brazil? I still haven't been. Still haven't been. Definitely want to go. Definitely want to go, and I will be planning a trip. But It's just not on the. It's not on my immediate list. Let's just put it that way. It's on the top of my list, but not like on my immediate list. Like there's certain places that I want to go first, um, that are ahead of it. So it's taking a long time to load here. So let me just give me 1 second, guys. If you guys have questions, please put them out right now. And I also want to talk a little bit about something I saw on one of the channels here. Okay. Hey Richie Rich, man. I don't know why your channel doesn't come up when I search your name. Just send me a link. Send me a link and then I'll open it up. I did this the last time. I don't know. I'm typing in your stuff and it just doesn't come up. You got Marwa coming up ahead of you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it. All right. So yeah, just send me a link and I'll open it up so everyone can take a look. Let's see. Okay. Actually I missed one here. Okay. Image wire, you redacted that. What was that? Or retracted it, I mean. Okay, what site do you recommend buying these cameras from DJI Direct? So there are two sites that I would recommend, and one would be, here we go. So here's Sasua's link here to his channel. So check it out. Subscribe to his channel. He's got some real good content. And like I said, he's going to Brazil. So if you guys have ever thought about going to Brazil, or even if you are just interested in what Brazil has to offer, he's going to be putting out some videos very soon. So as far as Rich, as far as buying cameras, I buy most of my well now I buy most of my cameras on Amazon, believe it or not. But you do have to be careful though because they have like you want to buy a camera from a U.S. dealer because you get certain warranty like guarantees and stuff if you buy from a U.S. dealer. So you want to be careful when you're on Amazon. I do buy stuff from B&H Photo. B&H Photo is really good, and so they usually have stuff right away. Like they'll have this camera as soon as it's released. And buying direct is good as well. Osmo DJI does a pretty good job, so they get your stuff out pretty quick. So that's my whole thing. I want to be able to purchase something and get it as soon as possible. So DJI does a pretty good job of doing that. And the funny thing is, and I don't know if you guys have Best Buy. I don't know if Best Buy is all over the all over the U.S., but there are Best Buy stores in where I live, and it was funny because I was waiting for I was going to get the Osmo Pocket, and I was going to get like the pre-order, but I didn't do that, and so I was just going to say, you know what, I'll go try to see if I can pick it up at the store. And so I happened to get on Best Buy, and this was a couple of days before they were actually releasing it. And I got on Best Buy, and they were selling them on Best Buy. And so I ordered one real quick. Actually, I didn't order one real quick. I looked at it, I'm like, wow, they're selling them this early? Like, and you can go pick it up at the store. That was the whole deal. And so I'm thinking, how are they doing that? Like, how are they selling it before it actually releases? They're like released in three days. And so I didn't buy it right away. Like I waited an hour, and then I went back to Best Buy online. I'm looking, and there were the stores where it was available. There were a few stores that were nearby. They didn't have them anymore, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what's going on? Like people actually get these in. And so then I just jumped on and I ordered it. An hour later, it was ready. I went over and picked it up, and so I actually had it before it was even before most people had it. I had it, which was weird. Like when I say most people, I mean if you ordered it online they were going to ship it out on a certain date. Well, Best Buy had them prior to that, so I was able to get them. So people ordered them. They ordered them before me, but they weren't able to get them until after I got them. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So ImageWire saying I like the photo video quality of iPhone XS Max. Same camera, Lionel Randall, used in Asia. Yeah, actually, Lionel's in our Facebook group. If you guys are interested, we have a Facebook group that's going on right now. All you need to do, and I won't put the link, but just go on Facebook, type in Travel Explorer, click group, and it'll come up. And join the group. And we talk about travel all the time, and there's always people that are out traveling different places and showing pictures and stuff like that. So it's a great place to get more information about travel, get more information about travel credit cards, because that's another thing that we talk about a lot. And just really, it gives you it makes travel affordable, and that's what we're all about. Okay, so let's move on down a little bit. Okay, so Fit Professor saying Pixel has great low light. I have a iPhone 10, and I'm happy with it. Yeah, yeah, for me, I just don't use my phone that much. I don't know. I mean, I like having a phone as a backup, but it's a phone as a backup for video. But generally, I don't use my phone that much. Okay, so Sue is saying he gets his Osmo Pocket tomorrow. You'll like it, man. You'll like it. You're gonna be happy with it. And if you have questions, just hit me up, and I'll help you. I don't know if you got any attachments and stuff like that, but you might want to get a few of those before you leave as well. Yeah, Team Osmo Fit Professor. Uh, so Mike's asking, where am I traveling to next? I'll be going to Hawaii next month, so in June, and then after that in August, I'll be going to Colombia. So back to Colombia. I'll be in Medellin for 5 days, and then I'll be 5 days in Cali. Okay. So Sue is saying he got the warranty for 2 years. It includes water damage for 29 bucks. Yeah, that's another good thing about DJI. I'm actually glad you brought that up, Rich. They have this insurance that you can get, and it's really inexpensive. Like yeah, it's 20. I think it's yeah 29 bucks. So for $29, you get insured for another 2 years with the Osmo Pocket. So I'm sure they're going to have something similar for this new camera. So they'll have like some insurance that you can get. And I mean, it's 30 bucks. Why not get it? Just so you have a little something. So if it does get damaged, I think with the Osmo Pocket, if I remember correctly, if you like completely destroy it, then they will replace it once. So so that's good. And then if you have like little issues with it, then you can send it back to them, and then they'll fix it and send it back to you. So yeah, just I like that. Just a little bit of peace of mind. So if I do have equipment, because if you buy camera equipment, like you can buy some high end camera, like the Sony A7R III $3,200 camera. That's it. If I drop it and it's done, then it's done. But luckily, what I do is I get insurance. I get separate insurance because I shoot professionally, so I need to have liability insurance. Plus, I insure my camera equipment. That way, if I drop it or if I drop it in water, like when I had the water damage and all that kind of stuff, I can get it fixed. Or if it gets lost or stolen, they will replace it as well. So that's good, and that's for all over the world. So uh, I like that. I like that fact. So if I'm ever in a bind, hopefully this never happens, but if I'm ever in a bind and I get held up and somebody's trying to take my camera, take it. Enjoy. I'll get another one. Yeah. So just something, and that's not that expensive either. I think I'm paying $34 a month. That's for the insurance, but that's with the liability insurance. Liability insurance is, I believe I think it's 2 million, either 2 million, 1 million, or 2 million, and that's for situations where because I shoot weddings. So let's say I'm shooting a wedding and I have my tripod out, and grandma trips over my tripod and gets hurt and seriously injured, and now she needs medical bills paid and all that. Well, then that's where that liability insurance jumps in, and a lot of vendor or a lot of um, God, it's just lost train of thought. A lot of locations will not even allow you to shoot there if you're shooting a wedding. They won't even allow you to shoot there if you don't have liability insurance because they don't want to have to cover it. So Yeah, just something so you guys know, like if you guys are thinking about getting into photography professionally, uh, just some things you need to think about. Okay, all right. There's one thing. There's another thing I want to talk about too. So or is it? No, it's Brian. I was gonna say Bill Kelly. So Brian Kelly. I don't know if you guys know who Brian Kelly is. If you guys like follow travel credit cards and points and all that good stuff, he was kind of one of the ones that really got. How can I say? He's one of the most well known when it comes to that. So he has a blog that he has right now, the Points Guy, and in this blog he just talks about travel credit cards and how you can travel the world and all that good stuff. And so I always talk about Colombia on here. I know I always talk about Colombia. I love going to Colombia. I love the women. I love the people. I love the everything about Colombia. And so um, I'm always talking about it, and I feel like, oh, God, they're sick of me talking about it. And so that's why I wanted to kind of venture off and talk about different things. But I happened to see a video that Brian Kelly just put out, and I'm only going to play a small little portion, but I just thought it was interesting. So let me flip over here so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And there you go. And let's see. Let's open up that. I'm just going to show the intro. All right, that's all I wanted to show. You guys can check it out if you if you want to see more. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Somebody's in Colombia, and I preach this. I talk about it all the time. It is in watch his videos. It's let's see what is his. So he's and I didn't even know he had this channel, this Brian Kelly channel. But because I know he has the Points Guy, so he has the Points Guy YouTube channel, but then he also has his own little channel where uh, it's just about his travels. So yeah, I just thought that was pretty interesting. He just put that out a couple days ago. He was only in Medellin for 24 hours, but yeah, I'm telling you guys. I mean, you guys are missing out. If you get you're missing out if you don't go. You really are, and they do a pretty good job on this. I think there were 2 days. I guess he was there for more than 24 hours. Well, he did two videos, one in Medellin and then one in Guatape. So yeah, just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. Okay, Fit Professor in August, the Medellin Festival. Yes, yes, I'll be going to the Flower Festival in Medellin in August, and then I'll be going to the that other festival. I can't even read all that Alvarez Festival in Cali. Fit Professor, you gonna be out there? You, what's your plan? Let's see. TC, do you have a drone in your business? I do have a drone. I don't have like a real. I just have the Mavic Pro, and I went ahead and got which I need to renew next month, and I haven't even studied. But I went ahead and got the Part 107, the license, so I can fly and shoot commercially. Um, so I had that. I've had it for 2 years. I haven't used it as much as I wanted to, though. I started shooting some real estate stuff, and I was using it mainly for that. But as far as weddings, it became more of like if I'm shooting and I have a second shooter, I don't really have time to put a drone up and get some shots. At least I get nervous. Like I don't want to miss something. So get a drone up, and you don't really have that much time either because I've shot a few outdoor weddings, but usually people want to shoot. Usually it's around sunset when things are kind of slowing down a little bit, and you can get the drone up for a few minutes. But if it's dark, then I'm not putting the drone up. So yeah, so for the most part, I have a drone, but I don't really use it for commercial stuff. The only stuff that I've used it for, I shot one wedding where I just pulled it up. I said, I'm doing it. Pulled it up, shot a couple of shots, nothing really interesting. and then for real estate, like I'll shoot just a couple of shots overhead for real estate. That's it. Okay. Um, Hey, Professor, I'm moving to Barranquilla in June. Oh, wow. So next month. Okay. All right. I didn't know you were moving that soon. Wow. Okay. So are you planning on teaching out there? What's going to be your plan? And why Barranquilla? I mean, it's nice. I liked it, but why Barranquilla over Cartagena or Medellin or some of the other spots? I'm just curious. All right. Any other questions, guys? Please hit the like button if you guys are in here right now. And just so you guys know, this is kind of my second live stream, so I'll do live streams on Saturday. That's usually my bigger day where I have more people participate. I get it, it's Monday. And, people are just getting back to work and they're just getting back in the swing of things. But I like to at least put stuff out on Monday still, just to kind of, especially if there's new stuff going on. But I like to put things out on Monday and talk more about affordable destinations. So on Saturday, we talk about travel credit cards and how you can maximize your points and stuff like that and travel to some of these different destinations. Then on Monday, we talk about affordable places to go, and that's one of the reasons why I talk a lot about Colombia because it's a very affordable place to travel, not only to travel to, but to experience. Once you're there, you go to the clubs and stuff like that. For the most part, as long as you're not in these little tourist traps. If you go, like in Medellin, they have an area they call Parquilleres. You go to Parquilleres and things are they're ridiculously expensive for what you're getting. I mean, it's U.S. prices. And in Colombia, most places you go, you're not going to be paying U.S. prices. Like I went to a club in Parquilleres and I paid $8 for a drink, and that's unheard of. Unheard of if you're in other areas. Like if you stay, like I stayed in Laureles, stay in the Laureles area, it's very reasonable. Um, I was paying. I mean, it's ridiculous how cheap it is for food. Food's $5, $6. Drinks maybe $1. If you go to the stores, the local stores and stuff like that, you can get alcohol for really reasonable prices. They have these stores called Éxito. It's like a Walmart. You can go in there. They pretty much have everything. And they also have like Éxitos, but they're small, like grocery stores, kind of like a neighborhood Walmart. And then they have like the larger Éxitos, which are like the size of a regular Walmart, where they have all different types of things. But you can go in there. You can get a lot of. I mean, everything is really reasonable. What I'm gonna do on my next trip, I've been thinking this through, but I'm gonna buy 10 items out here in the U.S. 10 items that I know that'll probably be in Colombia as well. So buy 10 items out here, just random stuff, not random, but like stuff that I would use. Um, and then when I get to Colombia, I'm gonna buy those same 10 items and just match the receipts to see how much they are. And the weird thing about it is a lot of the stuff that we buy out in the U.S. same brand. I mean, it's the same, Colgate in the U.S. and Colgate in in Colombia, but they're different prices. Some of the things are more expensive though because some of the things they're shipped out to Colombia, I guess. But so a lot of this stuff is just the same price or a lot less. So it's interesting. But anyway, affordable travel. That's what we talk about on Monday. And today I throw in camera stuff every once in a while. Um, if I think it's something that's travel related. And I think for me, camera equipment is travel related, so that's why I put this on here today. All right, let's see. I'm moving to Barranquilla June. TPG is great. Join the Facebook group. Yes, join the Facebook group. And I think we're at about 90 people right now. So we're doing well with it. I mean, the engagement is great. People are in there. They're talking about their travel and asking questions and all that good stuff. So yeah, stop by, join the group, and you'll learn a lot. That's for sure. I'll tell you that. And I learn a lot. I'm learning a lot right now. Just being on there. Now I try to get on there as much as possible and read all the comments and everything. But due to all the different things that I'm trying to juggle right now, it does get a little difficult sometimes to get in there, but we have some administrators that are really good, and they keep everything going and keep asking questions and things like that. So let's see. Let me open this. I was looking for the group on here. Go back here. You guys are looking at my personal personal Facebook here. Oh, how do we get that? Let's just get out of there. Okay. Um, all right. What else do we have in here? Fit Professor. It's cheaper and less touristy than Medellin, and there's a lot happening there because it's a port city. All right. Cool. That's cool, man. And let's see what else. I want to teach at the university. Okay. So you want to do some because I think you said you teach at a university out in Chicago, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Have you bought a camera equipment abroad? No, I've never. So Fit Professor's asking if I've ever bought any camera equipment abroad. I have not. I almost did. Actually, in Thailand, I almost. I was so mad that my camera because I didn't know if I was going to be able to like get it to work again, and Thailand. If you've ever been to Thailand, it's a beautiful place for landscape photography. And so this was like the second or third day in. I was going to be there for another 7 days, and my camera wasn't working properly. So I was ready to buy another camera because, like I said, this camera's insured, so I could still get it fixed once I get back to the States. But I wanted to have a camera that I could use while I was there. So I almost bought a camera, and what I did is I got on YouTube and I started looking and seeing if people had a similar issue. And basically, it was showing me a message. Every time I turned the camera on, it was showing me this message, and it wouldn't allow me to take pictures. It was just showing me this message, this error message. So I got on YouTube, and some of the people had this similar situation, and then I was able to narrow it down to where it was, and it was the hot shoe on the top. Water got into the hot shoe, and it kind of shorted things out there, and so you had to dry that out. So once it dried out, it took about a day for me to dry it out. I was using a hair dryer and all this weird stuff. I still need to take the camera in to get it fixed, like so they can check it. It works fine, but just so they can make sure that there's no real damage because it is salt water that got into it. So I want to do that. But yeah, I almost did. Yeah, I was in Thailand. I went to a camera shop, and the only reason I didn't buy a camera is because they didn't have good cameras at all. Like in my head, I'm already thinking, okay, well, I can buy this camera. Sony makes a lot of cameras that are the APS-C size sensors, smaller cameras, about $1,000. So I would have bought one of those because I already have the lenses, and I just need to, and it's a camera that I would have that I would use for a long, that it would be a good camera to invest in. But they didn't have anything like their cameras were 2 to 3 years behind the camera quality that we have now. So it's pretty amazing. Like I was like that, and I don't know. Like I would just thought Thailand would have had some pretty good cameras, but yeah, they didn't. Oh, righty. Okay, more people than Lionel should need to post. All right, so that's David saying that. Yeah, and not everybody wants to like put stuff out there, and a lot of people just want to listen. This is in the Facebook group. Some people might just want to listen. That's fine. But if you travel, this is the whole thing. I think that's great with the Facebook groups. Like I was saying, when you're traveling, it would be nice if you post some stuff. And I know when I travel, I'll be posting stuff all day because I want to show you guys kind of that whole experience. And we all are interested in traveling, not just being in the destination, but actually getting there. And Lionel was putting pictures up of his flights and flying business class and all that good stuff. So I think a lot of us are interested in that. But it is a little hard to post stuff if you don't really have anything to post, like other than questions. So no, I get that. Okay, so Fit Professor is asking, he wonders how much the cost for tripods, lights, softboxes, etc. Fit Professor, are you going to be doing a YouTube channel out there? I think you said that you were. But if you are, my advice: get all that stuff here before you leave. That's my advice because it's probably going to cost you more out there, and they don't have Amazon. Like you can get Amazon delivered, but it's going to cost a little bit for the shipping. Like they'll do like they'll ship it to Florida, and then Florida they have services like delivery services that will send it out to to Colombia, but they charge a fee, so you're going to pay a little bit extra. So if I were you, I would I would get that stuff now, like before you leave. And if you have any like if you uh, if you have any questions about different stuff, maybe stuff that you might want to get, stuff like that, just hit me up. Um, Hit me up on WhatsApp and just let me know what you're interested in, and I can kind of point you in the right direction. I when it comes to soft boxes, I don't go with the traditional I've had those before, like the old, like you can get them on Amazon now. You just check out Amazon and they have these. I'm gonna pull them up right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I don't go with those anymore. I do the LED panels. They're compact. They work a lot better, and they are about the same price. But you can pack them. Like you can pack them and just go. Like you don't the old soft boxes. Those things are huge, and you have that big bulb, big white bulb. It's just yeah, they're I don't like them. Then you have to worry about that bulb breaking, especially if you're traveling. And what I did on my the last trip that I did in Colombia, I was able to shoot video. And what I did is I had the LED panel, and the LED panel, I have the lights on now, so I can't really show you, but they're thin. Like actually, I can show you one of them. Hold on. So that's them. They're thin. You probably can't really hear me much. I'll talk in a minute, but they're really thin. Oh, all right. So you probably couldn't hear me much, but that much because I wasn't right on the mic. But you saw how thin that, and that's a smaller one. That's just kind of a feel light for me. But they're really thin, so I would just pack that in my luggage. So I would have like I use these cubes, these packing cubes, and I put all my clothes in the packing cube, and then I just put that over my clothes, and then zip it up because it's a little cube. You just zip it up, put it in your luggage, and it's fine. I mean, it's totally protected. But like these older ones, let's show you this. These older ones right here, like I don't get these. Like I don't get these anymore. It's just too much. It's too much bulk. You don't need all that. And so like I actually have this softbox here. That's what I'm using up above me. And so I bought this softbox and I bought a little LED panel, and that's what I use. So yeah, that's like these. Yeah, these are just it's just a waste. I mean, they say, oh yeah, it's 136 bucks. You get all this. It's just too much stuff. When you have it, like you have the little compact stuff, you can just hang them anywhere, uh, and it just doesn't take up as much space. So that's what I like. So that's just my advice. Let's see. Yeah, join the Facebook group Fit, and then if you can hit me up there too, Messenger. Just go on the Messenger and hit me up. Yeah. So if you have those giant bulbs, or you already have them, then you're then just use them. But I'm just telling you, over time, like I got to the point, like I have two of them right now in my other little setup, and I never use them. Like I will be replacing them soon because they're just too bulky, too big. All right, let me. Okay, you guys have any other questions or anything like that? Just let me know. Let me know in the chat. Um, and if there are no more questions, then we'll be going shortly. I appreciate you guys all stopping by. Please hit the like button right now to see if we can get a few more people in here. And I'm looking at my battery here. My battery life is running down, so I don't want to lose you guys. So if I go away suddenly, then you know why. Okay. All right. So any other questions? Any other questions? We'll wait a couple of minutes. If nothing happens, then we'll go for the night. And like I said, I traditionally don't do the photo. Well, I haven't been doing photography stuff in a while, and I like to keep it kind of more to travel. But I just wanted to mention that today about this new release. Now I will be going on live on Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time, so 6 a.m. 6 a.m. in the morning for me. I'll be on live, and we're gonna watch this whole thing together because I'm really interested to see what they're gonna announce, and are they just gonna announce that? Are they gonna announce anything else with it? That'd be interesting too. Um, and there are gonna be some announcements coming, like with so you have DJI on Wednesday. I think Sony should be announcing something really soon as far as another camera. So I've been waiting for that for the longest too. I have one Sony camera right now, and I to shoot professionally, you should have two cameras if you're shooting a wedding. So I've been holding out for the Sony A7S III, but they haven't released it yet. So I'm still waiting. Yeah, but once these announcements start coming out, I think I'm gonna when it comes to camera stuff, I will do a live stream on that day. Hopefully, if I'm available, and just kind of watch it with everyone, and then put my little final thoughts in as they close out. But yeah, that's all I have. That's it. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. And Fit Professor, thanks, buddy. I appreciate the super chat, buddy. Yeah, let me know. As far as the LED panels, I can tell you the exact ones that I got. Um, I can tell you the exact ones that I have, and then I can also show you. Like I have, and I would have done this different, and I will be buying some more, but you can buy two together, and then I have the remote. I bought one. I have the remote, but you can buy two, and you have a remote. And it's nice because you don't have to be right up on the lights. I mean, you don't have to flip the light. You could actually sit down and set your lighting with the remote. So that's nice. And it just makes it a lot easier when you're trying to set everything up. So yeah, just let me know. Just let me know. Hit me up. Um, and that's it. That's it, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by, and we will be back on next Saturday. And I haven't picked a topic yet, but I will put it out on the Facebook group so they will know, and then I'll also have it on my list on YouTube. I'm going to try to put them out a little earlier. I know I wait till the last minute to put them out, which is bad on my part because then people don't really know until the last minute of what's going out there. So I'm going to try to make an attempt to put it out a little earlier. And I'm still working on Skype calls, so I still want to get guests on here, but I want to have it professional looking. So I'm working on the whole Skype calls. Um, it's not working for me yet, so I'm trying to figure it out. It's getting pretty frustrating, but I know I'm missing something very simple. But once I get that going, then that'll really be good because now that I can have guests come on and we can talk about travel, we can talk about a variety of different things. So I can do it now. I can do the Google Hangout. I can do all that good stuff. But the problem is, I want to have everything set up in the same OBS operating system thing that I'm using here. And I want it to look professional. I don't want to have like the Google Hangout. I can't really do stuff the way I want with that. I have full control with what I'm using here, so I can flip out different screens and all that good stuff, whereas I can't do that with the other one. All right, let's see, last thing. Who are you trying to get as a guest? I'm trying to get you as a guest, David. I'm going to be reaching out to you guys in the Facebook group. That's where I'm pulling people from. And so we'll just come on and we'll talk. You can give me your point of view when it comes to Amex Platinum and Amex Gold and all the different credit cards and all that, and we can do that. So that's my goal. That's my ultimate goal. And if you guys don't want to be on like your face on there, that's fine. We can have that off, and you just have your voice. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to do with it. So all right, I'm gonna get out of here now because the battery's getting ready to die, and I don't want you guys to have that abrupt cut. But please like the video on your way out. Please subscribe if you're new. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. And I'll be putting out content. I still have videos that I'm putting out. I'm trying to put out a video every day. So either a live stream or a video every day. That's what my goal is. And we're just going to keep doing that until I have no more videos to put out. But I'm trying to do that. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye.